UFC London, Edwards versus Brady. I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown, some of my predictions, and if you stick around at the end, I'll give you what early bet I'm putting on for accumulator, or parlay as you like to call it. I didn't do a video last week, I just didn't leave myself enough time and the card was a bit rubbish anyway. The last couple of weeks on Cage Warriors though, I've had 2 accumulators with one fight letting me down on both of them. So last week's it was one fight let me down for 300 quid. It was the Dylan Azam one. And then this week I had one fight let me down. It was Aaron Pierre, and that was for like 130 or something like that. I was supposed to stream Cage Warriors last weekend. Didn't realise I had to give 24 hours notice on YouTube. But I did stream Cage Warriors on Saturday just gone, which went alright. I might do Friday's main card, and then I might even stream like a watch along for this UFC as well on Saturday. So come back then if you want to watch along with us. So anyway, going to the first fight, we've got Graham Kutaladze versus Kai Fernandez. Early thoughts on this fight. I'm thinking Kutaladze. I always call him Kutaladze. I didn't realise it was Kutaladze. I'm just going to keep calling Kutaladze, a bit easier. Early thoughts. I think Kutaladze gets this one done. Had a couple of losses in the UFC. One by split decision, one by finish to Elvis Brenner, and then he won his last fight against Jordan Vucenic, where Jordan Vucenic started really well early, but he managed to grit through, come back and win. And he's got a split decision win over Mateus Gamrot as well, which is good. And yeah, I think he's a pretty good fighter, well-rounded, good everywhere. Kai Fernandez, on the other hand, fighting out of Nova União. Don't think there's anyone great coming from that gym these days. Won his last fight in the UFC against a guy who trains out of Abu Dhabi. Probably not UFC caliber, as we've seen. This Muhammad Yahya might get released. Split decision loss to Mark Diakite, which isn't terrible. I think Diakite is decent, but obviously not in the UFC anymore. And yeah, he's got some alright wins on LFA, a loss on LFA. Seems alright, but I think Kutaladze's ceiling's a bit higher, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to bet on this fight because the odds are pretty wide anyway, as we'll see a bit later on. So moving on, next fight, but if I had to pick, it would be Kutaladze. Next fight, Kyle Loughran versus Nathan Fletcher. Now, know a bit more about these two. Both former Cage Warriors champions. Nathan Fletcher was on the Ultimate Fighter. Lost on that, but I think he was injured, wasn't he? Broke his arm or his leg, I can't remember. He had like a fracture anyway. Lost that fight by a decision against a decent fighter. This Khan Offley's done alright, hasn't he? Or maybe not. He lost his last 2. But against tough fighters like Myron Santos, who just looked pretty good. And then Naimov as well. So yeah, winning his last fight, arm triangle choke. But I'm going back to the days on the Cage Warriors. I think Nathan Fletcher's fought the tougher competition overall. Kyle Loughran, he's done alright, but not so in the Cage Warriors. I mean, not so much in the UFC. Lost to Jake Adley in his last fight. Jake Adley's pretty good, but coming up from flyweight as well. And then got a win against this Angel Pacheco. I don't think he's doing too well. Lost his last 2. And lost to Taylor Lapillus. He is like a bit of a grappler, Loughran. When he does win, from what I've seen of him anyway on Cage Warriors, he likes to take him down, just like hold him there. And I don't think he's going to get away with that against Fletcher. And I think Fletcher's the taller of the two. Probably going to have the range. His striking is not terrible, but I think he's going to be more of a grappling fight this one, and I think Fletcher's a better grappler. So I'm going to go with Fletcher with that one, and I will be putting that on my marker, I think. Next fight, Sean O'Bannon versus Pooja Tomar. Too unpredictable, not going there. I can't even say if I had to pick, I'm not even sure. I'm just going to skip that one. Next fight, Christian Levi Duncan versus Andrei Pulaev. Another Cage Warriors veteran, Duncan, very good striker. Lost his last fight against Gregory Rodriguez, but that's a pretty high level fighter, isn't it, to lose against? And he's won 2 before that. Another loss to Amon Petrosian, who's just been cut, who's a good technical striker. And then win before that. I think he's still growing and getting better, isn't he? Duncan. He's 29, so he's not even in his 30s yet. And I think he's getting better as an all-round fighter as it goes. Yeah. I don't know much about this Andrei Pulev. I think it's his, it's coming in, it's his debut in the UFC. He won the Contender Series by decision. And I've not really looked into it too much. I've seen the odds. Christian Leroy Duncan's like a 1-6 favourite. So I think it's pointless even putting it on. If I had to pick, I'd probably say Duncan's going to win, but I don't know. He's an unknown entity to play for me. I didn't watch him on the Contender Series either, so I'm unsure. Next fight, Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin looks really good, doesn't he? 10-0. I don't even think he's 30 yet. I think he's 29. Yeah, he's 29. Training with Tom Aspinall and out of TFT as well, which is a decent gym in the northeast. And I think he looks really good. I can see it. I can see Tom Aspinall being champion, and then this being a fight down the line with a bit of a story behind it, considering they train together. Yeah, I could see him going pretty far. Mitch Parkin. I keep calling him Mick Parkin. Don't know why I can't call him Mitch. Marcin Tybura won his last fight against United, and he's lost before that against Spivak. Beat Taito Ivasa by choke, that's how you're going to beat him, innit? Lost against Tom Aspinall. These are 2 good wins, though. What make me think like he could win is the Blahoy-Ivanov one and this Alexander Romanov. That's the one I'm more looking at because he's got a game similar to Mitch Parkin, but I think Mitch Parkin. Why do I keep calling him Mitch? Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin is similar to Alexander Romanov, but I think he's a bit more well-rounded. I think he probably sets up his takedowns better than that. But yeah, that's a fight where it does make me think like there is potential for Tybura to win, but I think the ceiling's a lot higher now. And he's old, isn't he, Tybura? He's like 39. I know that doesn't mean much for heavyweights, but Mick Parkin's only 29, and he's got the momentum. He's on a win streak. He's not been beaten yet, and he's training with good guys. He's training with Tom Aspinall, who's the best heavyweight in the world at the minute. So yeah, I think Mick Parkin for that one, not Mitch. Sorry about that. Next fight, Lonnie Kavanagh versus Felipe Dos Santos. Now, Lonnie Kavanagh, really good striker, and I think people peg him as only a striker, and that's just because of how good he is striking. But I think he's more well-rounded than what people give him credit for. Training at Great Britain top team with Brad Pickett. I think his grappling's probably a little underrated. It's just because he's got such a big advantage in the striking that you just don't see it that much. So yeah, I think he's actually a better grappler than people give him credit for. Dos Santos, he won one of his last 3. Tough fights though, innit? Manel Kape and Andre Lima. They're really good fighters, so it is a bit of he's fought the high level competition. I don't know if it's a step up in competition for Lonnie Kavanagh because he has been fighting good guys anyway. But it is going to be another tough fight. But I think he's going to be up there in here. If I think about where the careers are going, yeah, I think he's just better striker, and I don't think Dos Santos has got the grappling to trouble him either. I think he's better than we think in the grappling. He just doesn't get to show it much. So yeah, I think Lonnie Kavanagh wins that. I can't remember what the bet, if I put him on the bet or not. We'll check in a minute. Next fight, Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla. Jai Herbert's really good. A few of his losses, he was actually winning those fights and then ended up getting caught. So that's the only problem with him. He can get cracked and get knocked out. But even in the fights where he has been knocked out, he's been winning them. Like, I think the Ilia Topuria one, he was winning that up until he got caught. The Francisco Trinaldo one, he was winning that up until he got caught in the third. I can't remember how the Renato Marcano fight went. But he survived a knockout against Calma Worthy. And then who's known for his power. And then he drew against Ludovic Klein as well. I think he's really good, Jaya, but it's just whether he gets caught or not. That's the only thing. And Chris Padilla, he's knocked a few people out, and he's on a bit of a streak himself. Won his last one against Rongzhu, and then James Lontop before that. So it's a bit of a tricky one to predict, that one. I would say Jaya, but if I had to pick, but it wouldn't surprise me if he got caught and knocked out. Yeah, so, but I'll say Jaya, but for that. Next fight, really good fight. I think this is going to be one of the best fights on the card. Is Morgan Charrier versus Nathaniel Wood. Two former Cage Warriors champions as well, going at it again. So, Morgan Charrier fighting at featherweight. I think he's fought at lightweight in the past before as well. And he's coming on a good run. Lost a split decision against Chepe Mariscal, but that isn't terrible. Mariscal's on a tear at the minute. He's looking really good. Won his last fight in the second round, and then he got a body kick finish before that as well. Yeah, I really like Morgan Charrier. Big fan base as well. He's got a lot of fans. I imagine there'll be a lot of French there watching him. I think he's like some YouTube star over there in France or something. And he's fighting Nathaniel Wood, who's used to fight at bantamweight. He's had his last few fights at featherweight though, and he does look good. Nathaniel Wood, I like him. Got a loss against Naimov, but that Naimov's looking really good as well. So it's not a terrible loss. And then before that, he lost against Casey Kenny and John Dodson. He's got some good wins in there as well though, as Nathaniel Wood. But I think it's going to be a tough fight, this. It's going to be, I could see it being like a very close decision. And I'm leaning towards Charrier, and I think I'm going to put him on as well. My only worry with Charrier is sometimes he can be a little bit inactive in the rounds. Not inactive, but like the other people can look busier, and I think Nathaniel Wood will look busier. But I'm leaning Charrier on it, to be honest. I think he's going to be the bigger fighter. I think he's got the power edge. He could catch him. And I can't see Nathaniel Wood just dominate him in the grappling. Maybe he gets him down a couple of times, but then I think Charrier stays safe enough and gets back up. I think it'll be very close, but I think I'm leaning Charrier on it, to be honest. Next fight, Jordan Vicenic versus Chris Duncan. Vicenic had a tough fight against Kutiladze in his debut, which we was talking about earlier. He looked really good in that. And I'm glad he's in the UFC. He's got another tough fight though in Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan's been in the UFC longer than I thought. When I was looking at his record and that before, I can't believe he's had that many fights in the UFC already. It seems like only recently he won on the Contender Series and got in. But he's had 4 fights already now in the UFC. It's mad. Off the top of my head though, when I look at this fight, I think Vicenic is the better fighter, to be honest. More well-rounded. And I think he's got the striking edge as well, the power. Another tough fight. Vicenic is like 1-4 as well. I would say Vicenic is going to win, but I don't think I'll put it on my bet just because he's too much of a favourite, and I think it is a tough fight for him. There could be an upset there. So another close one, I think. I think it'll be close again, another decision maybe. Next fight, Molly McCann versus Alexia Tainara. Not really looked at it, to be honest, and I definitely won't be putting it on. So I'll just skip that one. Next fight, Kevin Holland versus Gunnar Nelson. I really like Gunnar Nelson. I've been watching a few of these prediction videos, what other people have been doing, and they're hating on Gunnar Nelson. I think he's really good. I like his style. He's like a Damian Maia-esque karate style on the stand-up, but he's really clean with his technique on the ground. And me being a bit of a grappler myself, I like watching that. I think he's really good, Gunnar Nelson, and he's cool as well. I think he's a cool guy. Been out the cage all now since 23. I think that's the only thing what makes me think Kevin Holland has a chance in this, to be honest. I think Gunnar Nelson subs him. I think he wins. The only thing what's in my head is he's been out a while and he's getting up there now. How old is he? 36. And even though Kevin Holland is a bit hit and miss, isn't he? But he's active. He is active. And he lost his last fight. He got smoked, didn't he, by Derrida. I had Derrida in that one as well. And then lost to Dillinger before that. Kind of quit on the stool a bit, didn't he? Yeah, I think I am going with Gunnar Nelson, but the only thing what sticks out that Kevin Holland could get an upset is that he's been out for 2 years, Gunnar Nelson, and he's getting older now. But I am going to go with him. I think he subs Kevin Holland. Next fight, Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. Same kind of thing. Jan Blachowicz is coming in now. He's had 2 years out because he's had 2 shoulder surgeries. Split decision loss against Alex Pereira in his last fight. Draw against Ankalaev, the new champion before that. And he's beat some other good guys on the way. I think he's going to have the grappling advantage in this fight against Carlos Ulberg. It's just how LM Shoulder's going to hold up. How much has that affected him? Has he still been training like hard? Because you know Carlos Ulberg's a lot younger. Well, not a lot younger. He's like 8 years younger. Coming in on a bit of a tour. But I just think like Jan Blachowicz has got that grappling edge. And he's got the power. It's not like he's out of there on the feet and he's going to get outclassed. I think he's going to be hard to finish Jan Blachowicz on the feet. And he's still got power himself. And Carlos Ulberg has been finished before on the feet. I just don't see him getting Jan Blachowicz out there quick like he's done to some of these guys. And I think Jan Blachowicz can make it dirty. A 3-round fight. If it was a 5-round, I'd lean even more to Jan Blachowicz. Just because he's experienced it and stuff before. But I'm still going to lean. He's like a 2-1 underdog, Jan Blachowicz. So that's where I'm going in this fight. And I'm putting it on just because it boosts your odds. So yeah, I'm going Jan Blachowicz in that fight. Hopefully he can get it done. Would it surprise me Carlos Ulberg won? No, but I'm just going with the experience and the grappling and stuff of Jan Blachowicz. And it's not like he's out of there on the feet like I was saying. Next fight, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. Tough one to pick in it because Leon Edwards coming off that loss to Bilal Muhammad where he was grappled. It's like his first grapplers in his last however many fights now. Though look, Usman twice, Covington, and then Bilal. It's like he's been in the same training camp, I guess, for the last 5 fights. I know he weren't supposed to be fighting Brady. He was supposed to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena, and I bet he was happy about that because it gives him something a bit different. But it's not like the change of opponent. He's not been training for a grappler. He's been training for a grappler for his last 4 fights before this one. So all that stuff's still there. And I know he's been changing up his training. He's been training at Subzone in Manchester, Grapple Heavy Gym. But Sean Brady is good. He is good. He's coming in off a good few wins against Gastelum and Gilbert Burns. Lost to Bilal Muhammad before that and got finished on the feet. And I just think, is he going to have that same success as what Bilal did? And I do think in that last fight with Leon Edwards, the time thing definitely probably affected him. So, and I think if he fought Bilal Muhammad again, it would be a bit different. I am leaning Leon Edwards, and he's the underdog as well. So, but it wouldn't surprise me Wouldn't surprise me if he got controlled and lost the decision again. But I think maybe he can hold him off and just land more damage, because you're seeing that now in these fights on Cage Warriors and UFC, and some of the Cage Warriors judges judge the UFC, so that's why I'm saying that, because I guarantee the people who will be judging the UFC on the weekend, it'll be Cage Warriors judges, and you're seeing it like these grapplers are holding them there, and if they're not doing anything with it, like you've seen it in that Dylan and Zan fight, which let my accumulator down for 300 quid. He just held him there and didn't do nothing, and he was getting hit and lost a round, even though he was controlling the position for the whole fight. You know what I mean if you watch that fight. If you didn't watch it, don't go and watch it, because it was terrible. But yeah, I think Leon Edwards might get it done, but it wouldn't surprise me if it goes the other way. So I'll just show you my bet really quickly, what I put on. So here it is. It's a little six-fold. I just put a 10 on it. I had a free bet as well. I've gone with Nathan Fletcher, Lonnie Kavanagh, Mick Barkin, nearly called him Mitch again, Jan Blachowicz and Leon Edwards. And a tenner on that gets you 450 back, so what's that? Like 45 to 1. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that bet. I was looking at other people to put on as well. Like I was going to put on Jordan Vicenic on it and Jai Herbert, but I just think they're a bit risky, them ones. And they're both a favourite, so I left it off. And then Garam Kutaladze as well, because it's pointless if it's not boosting your odds too much, it's pointless putting them on. So yeah, I'm happy with that little six-fold. Hopefully it comes in. I might put a few bets on nearest to the time as well, like some prop bets and some singles. I feel like I need to start taking it a little bit more, not serious, but like just put a little bit more thought into it. Because for me betting, I'm not like a professional gambler, and I think a lot of these people will tell you they are full of shit anyway. So you should take it with a pinch of salt, whatever they're selling you, or like, yeah, don't take it for gospel. Yeah, because I think a lot of them guys are full of shit anyway. But yeah, it's bet for fun. But I might start taking it and try to actually build. Like, do you see the people doing it, building the units and stuff like that? I might start looking at it like that, because I think you probably will have more success over the long run than just putting it on like willy nilly. But I have cashed a lot of these kind of bets in the past before. That's why I do them. If I weren't winning any of them, then I won't keep doing it. I think the last one I won was like 600 quid or something. That was a while ago though, and I only put a fiver on it. I put a tenner on it. I thought, I'll put 5 on football, so I cashed 5 out, and then it ended up coming in, so I would have won like 1,200 off that one. But yeah, that's enough waffling on anyway. That's what I'm going to put on. I'll probably do a video for Cage Warriors on Friday as well. Like I say, I might stream that card, the main card, on Friday night when I get back from the gym, and then I might do a watch along for UFC on Saturday as well, just because a few people have asked who was watching last week. But yeah, let us know what you're putting on in the comments below. If you're not subscribed and you're here still, subscribe if you want. And then yeah, come back if you want to watch along with Cage Warriors or UFC on the weekend. And have a good one. I'll see you then. Bye.